I got to tell you, are you excited about our next guest, by the way?
Well, sure. I love junk. You can see it if you come into my closet at home. You'll understand that I support all kinds of junk, both kinds and all kinds. I keep all of my house clean except for my closet and my side of the bed because my side's on the far away. So if you walk in our room, you wouldn't see it. So I keep all the clutter tucked on my side of the bed. The rest of the house is lovely, however.
Speaking of houses, by the way, seemingly hidden from the front of the house, the Cathedral of Junk is not completely invisible to neighbors.
Invisible.
Tenants of townhome complex located behind the house have filed complaints with the city, which in turn warranted inspection by officials. Several city engineers attempted to find weak points in the structure. Did they? Did they find weak points in the structure, Lindsay?
They did not. And so he got to care. The only thing was the TVs, but he relocated the TVs to the Zen to a Zen garden of TVs. But Jim, our guest today, he built like.
Can you smoke that and get a frequency?
I mean, it's Texas. You can't legally do it, but you could. But Willie lives here, so might as well. He built a cathedral not out of marble stained glass, as you said, but old bikes, TVs, and the kind of junk that our moms made us throw away, Jim. It's tucked in this backyard in South Austin. It's become not only a tourist destination, but a city controversy and a work of living, evolving art, Jimmy Mac.
And by the way, our friend Mr. Puchels, who we'll be talking to at some point tomorrow, by the way, he actually would be probably thrilled that we're talking to our next guest. You guys can find, by the way, on Atlas Obscura and Roadside America, it is the Cathedral of Junk we're talking about, and its architect, Vince Hannemann, joins us this morning. Say hi to Vince, Lindsay.
Well, hey, Vince. Good morning, new friend.
Good morning. How are you all doing?
We're really good. We're excited to talk to you. And I'm going to lead with this because Claire, who books all of our guests for us, said, there was not she said, there's no social media. I think this guy lives a little bit in the past, but in a really good way. I think you'd have to have a lot of presence to be the curator and the purveyor of the Cathedral of Junk. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I'm the last of the boomers here. I'm the late resistor.
Stand strong, friend. Stand strong.
Vince, I have this is going to be a strange question. It's a little bit long form, so I'll give you a chance to kind of think and unpack it as I kind of go through this. So you literally have this evolving piece that you
Yeah.
live with, that you live in, that you live next to. And I'm wondering, has the way you see it, has the way you kind of process it when you look at it, has it become noise, or are you able to see different parts and different places and wonder where the tweaks are and wonder if, in fact, you see anything new over the course of it? How does it look on a daily basis existing with the cathedral? Does that make sense?
I guess it evolves. It's changed over time. I mean, I didn't have a grand plan to build a cathedral of junk. I didn't even own this house for the first 17 years I was living here. So what the purpose and everything has changed so much. First, it was just for me. And now that I have so many people come by, the way I build and what I do kind of depends on or is informed by the way people use it. And, I'd have to accommodate folks. So if it was just for me, I might do one thing, but because I have so many people here, I kind of have to, it has to be safe and sound and all that. Because I get little kids in bare feet, little toddlers, and all the way to the folks with the walkers. I get the kids from the School for the Blind over here, the School for the Deaf, everybody.
So when you're talking about, with all that being said, and then talking about the people dropping stuff off, there's got to be a like when you go to the Goodwill or when you go to the recycle bin, like I assume there's some sort of process for what you take and what you don't, because listen, people, you're not the place for people to drop off their crap. That's not what we're talking about here. So what are your standards, and how do you sort of say yay or nay to what gets brought over?
Well, it has to be weather resistant, first of all. It has to be the right shape, too. If it's the wrong shape and it just holds water, there's some things that, regardless of which way you turn them, they're always going to want to hold some water. So that's always a concern, because I don't want anything to hold water breed mosquitoes and so on. If it's older and it's heavy metal, made in the USA, I probably love it. That old made in the USA stuff is the quality stuff, Craftsman tools, guaranteed for life. That's the stuff I like.
That's the good stuff.
Well, and that brings up another thing, too, because when you see it, and I don't even know how to kind of describe this in a way that'll make sense other than a feeling. It is so uniquely American. And so much of that is due to the fact that so much of what is up there has been made here and has come from rooftops, has come from backyards, has come from the kitsch sort of element of America. It's inescapably, there's a feeling of it that you hear the word cathedral, and of course you think about the great cathedrals of Europe. This feels like a very American institution, if I'm making any sense. And I'm wondering, along with your, I like it to not hold water, I like it to have that good old-fashioned made in America feel, if you do feel like that American aesthetic is beginning to influence how you accept and how you build with it.
I don't know. I guess maybe there's something American about it. It seems to be prevalent mostly in the South. I've heard that maybe the mold in the air makes people a little nuts or something. I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, I like something that's heavy duty and quality. Everything nowadays is made out of plastic, and that's not going to really work for me. The garbage just doesn't. The junk doesn't have the same aesthetic anymore. You just find a lot of plastic. It's, everything used to be heavy metal and well built, and now everything is kind of a little bit on the cheaper side. You can't find. When I started this, there used to be metal hubcaps lying along the side of the road that you could find. Now the kids don't even know what a hubcap is unless it's a spinner.
Everything used to be heavy metal, and then we lost Ozzy.
Well,
and now we've moved on.
Oh, that's a good point.
But I'm curious, Vince. I'm curious, Vince.
Yeah.
Would you call, and maybe it's none of these, but can because I know we'll talk here quickly about the history of how it came to be, but would you call this a work of art or rebellion or just a good time? I mean, can you really put a stamp on it, or is it just something that came to be? Because I think when we don't have...
It's all the above. Okay. It is a work of art, but I also feel like I'm playing hooky when I'm out here doing it, like I'm getting away with something. And for a while, basically I was, because I didn't even own this house. My landlord never said no. I just kind of started with a little grouping of sculptures, kind of tried to keep them hidden. And, it was like playing hooky. Every minute I was out there, it's like I was getting away with something. So, hey, can I correct something real quick?
Please.
Because you said at the beginning that it was the gated community behind me that complained on me back in 2010 that got the city rolling on making me get a building permit. And that's actually not true. That's a rumor. That this stuff gets into print, on different websites and everything. And I don't have any kind of social media or anything, so my version isn't out there. And when people write stuff, they don't exactly give me editorial control over what they say. And that's one of those things that is not true. It was actually my neighbor on the other side. On my right-hand side,
whose name is
the city. It was a different neighbor. It was not those folks in the back of me, which has gone down into history apparently as the truth of the matter. That neighbor, the only way I know that, because it's an anonymous complaint-driven system, is because when the media showed up, he copped to the fact. He was already top of my suspect list, but it's He did cop to the fact that he was the one that complained to the city. And I don't blame him, honestly. I wasn't exactly the best neighbor for many years. We had quite a few wild, crazy parties here back in the day. And I think Austin was just kind of a little bit more like that. You could have backyard parties. And the rule used to be, second time the cops come, party's over. So it was kind of lax back in the day.
The good old days.
By the
man.
way, you actually spilled in the question I was going to ask before you made your correction. Thank you for it. By the way, is the fact that this is also a remnant of. And by the way, it's a marketing slogan now. It's a bumper sticker slogan now. But as somebody who grew up in New Orleans in the late '70s and '80s, I know that one of the rallying points people would always tell me, you got to get your butt up to Austin. A lot of groovy,
Keep it weird, man.
A lot of keep it weird stuff was going on back then, and this feels like in some ways a memory to the honor of Austin being weird before it became Austin being really big, becoming the center of power not only of Texas but of one of the great power centers of the U.S. And so in many ways this feels like kind of an echo chamber. All that metal is kind of vibrating all the weirdness of Austin, that you're preserving it in some way. Because can you talk about what that atmosphere was like back in Austin? Because I have some sense of it, having made a couple of trips up there in the 80s, coming from Athens, Georgia, back to New Orleans and then going to Austin. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, it was. Austin was cheaper back in those days too. As the thing, I had cheap rent here for a good 17 years, and that doesn't exist anymore. And so there used to be. And you remember the movie Slackers? There used to be slackers, what you call, here in Austin. In other words, they slept till noon. They went to their part-time job at 3 or 4. They got off at 8, and then they played in a band till midnight or whatever. You could afford to do that kind of lifestyle back in the day. So there were more artists and people being able to be creative because of the cheap rent. But now there's no more cheap rent. That's the end of that. And I really feel sorry for the kids now because, when I rented this place when I was 26, it was $300 a month, and the landlord lowered it to $280. So I started off at $280, and it wasn't any long online application form and yada yada. It was just meet the guy, sign the lease, and away you go. And nowadays you have to give your whole life history to do anything.
Yeah.
Download the app. Oh my God, please.
You lost me at download. But people can come and as you said, can come and witness it, can be a part of it. We're almost out of time, Vince, but I want to know what is the mythical object you don't have at the Cathedral of Junk yet that you would like if you could travel the world? What's the thing you want to bring back to be the cherry on top?
Well, I don't know about the cherry on top exactly.
Or wherever you can shove it that won't mess it up.
I don't know. Cherry on top. I always tell people that the one thing I'm still looking for is a Mexican license plate. I've got all 50 states, District of Columbia, and about half the Canadian provinces. But considering that we're this close to Mexico, it seems like I ought to have a Mexican license plate somewhere around here.
Yeah.
But that I don't have.
It's become my new life mission to find that plate for you.
That Mexican license plate. And, I'm too old to steal junk anymore, and I don't dumpster dive too much anymore either. So
too much. He said too much, by the way.
When you're a kid, you can go out and, I don't know, take down street signs or whatever and get away with it. But kids don't do that. But back in the day, the stuff we used to do, now you'd be called, a terrorist or something. But
you can't have any fun anymore. We can't have any fun anymore.
Not any good for you. Can't. It's terrible. I don't know what the kids do. They just look at their phones. I don't know.
I know.
By the way, somebody's going to build a cathedral of phones in about 2 or 3 decades after we all get it wired into our head. By the way, Vince, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, you're not on social media. What is the easiest way for people to know how to come by and see said Cathedral of Junk?
It's just so old school. You just have to call me up at the number that you called me at and see if I'm showing or not. I don't show every single day. I kind of mix up my schedule from week to week. And usually my message says when is the next best day to call me that week.
Can we give that number out on the air? Is that what you're telling us?
You can.
Go ahead, Lindsay, do it.
Well, that number is, and well, hey, if you want, people are listening, they're in the chat here. I will post it in there as well, but you can call 512, that's the Austin area code, 512-299-7413. Again, that's 512-299-7413. And Vince will answer or he won't, depending on how he feels. I love it. He will tell you if you can come or you can't. There's no real hours. It's when Vince feels like. And damn it, I like that about Vince. You do you, Vince. You keep doing you, Vince. I love it.
I get text shamed so often these days. It's, you need a QR code. You need a website. It's like, no, I don't need that. Thank you very much. We can get away with it,
I love it. I love the fact that we found you. Thank you, Vince. Thank you. Have a good one, brother.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thanks, Vince. Well, that was fun.